Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the council meeting for Wednesday, February 15th, 2023. Adds and deletes. Add consent agenda number 7. Add department and committee reports number 2D, number 2E, and number 3B. Add license and permits number 4. Could I have approval of the agenda?
So moved.
So moved by Councilor Bayless. A second?
Support.
Support by Councilor Faso. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of minutes. Approve the minutes of February 1st, 2023, regular city council meeting. Could I have a motion in a second?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilor Faso, second by Councilor Schweiberger. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Approve the minutes of February 1st, 2023, council workshop meeting. Could I have a motion for approval?
Make the motion.
Motion by Councilor Whitney, second.
Support.
Support by Councilor Hildebrand. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to consent agenda. 1, approve accounts payable dated 2/7/23, checks number 174032 in the amount of $50,000. And 2/10/2023, checks number 174033 through 174127 in the amount of $935,614.71. 2, approve the city council payroll for the pay period ending 1/27/2023, checks number 168665-1686 through 671 in the amount of $533,242.82. 3, accept the Hibbing Police Department activities report for January 2023. 4, authorize the posting for the full-time equipment operator 2 in the Public Works Department. 5, set the next regular Hibbing City Council meeting for Wednesday, March 1st, 2023 at 5 p.m. at City Hall in the Hibbing City Hall Council Chamber. 6, set the Hibbing City Hall Council Workshop for Wednesday, March 1st, 2023, following the Hibbing City Council meeting at City Hall in the Hibbing City Hall Council Chambers. And 7, authorize the Hibbing City Council to end a public meeting listening session regarding the facilities assessment by ICS on Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023 in the Hibbing City Hall Council Chambers, and that time is 7 p.m. Could I get a motion for approval?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as read and published.
Thank you. We have Councilor Hoffman-Sockman making the motion. A second?
Support.
Second by Councilor Faso. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to, we'll go to public forum first. And I do have one individual, Mr. Samuel Powers. Mr. Powers, you have 5 minutes for discussion, and we'll let you know when we're getting towards the end. Thank you for showing up.
This has to do with the sanitation truck.
Okay.
Which is later on in the agenda.
Okay.
Sam, so yeah. Yep,
All right.
we'll get to that.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, so he's part of your discussion. Very good. Thank you. You're good with that then. Okay, very good. So we'll move on to department committee reports and community development director, Betsy Olivanti.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. My first order of business is to offer a resolution to apply for and accept commercial redevelopment grant funding from the IRRR to allow for the demolition of the fire-destroyed property at 1831 3rd Avenue East in Hibbing. The Yoder Building Supply had experienced a recent fire, completely destroying that base of operations at that location. The business does have insurance and will receive funds which will cover a portion of the demolition of the facility. However, the total cost of that part of the project is not fully covered by the insurance funds. This grant will fill that gap. Demolition of the building will be phase 1 of the project, which will include the building of a new facility within the city limits of Hibbing in a later phase. Total project costs for the new facility are not known at this time. However, will be substantial enough to make up the required match for this funding. The business owner, Jerry Yoder and JT Ventures LLC and the city of Hibbing On item E, I have a proposed development agreement that we can enter into, which will guide the process of this as we move forward. So just looking for that resolution.
Okay, so you're looking for support for a resolution. Wishes of the council.
I'll make the motion to support the resolution.
We have support by Councilor Bayless, second.
I'll second that motion. Thank you.
Second by Councilor Hoffman-Sockman. Any discussion? All in favor say yea.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Betsy B.
Okay, so I'm also offering a request for a resolution providing a letter of support for the CTC, Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development, border-to-border broadband application that will contain a few non-contiguous areas and include approximately 38 households in northeast Hibbing area. This is near the Highway 5 and Vulcan Township. So what they're looking to do, it says the other areas include most of Clinton Township, east side of Doherty Lake and Great Scott Township, the northwest side of Island Lake area in Gunnison Township, and unorganized territory located south of the Iron Range and a little north of Duluth. So they're going for this funding. The total project cost is about $9 million overall, and we're one small portion of it. But if you recall, CTC started in Clinton and Cherry Township and has been consistently moving west towards Hibbing and has recently installed fiber in our city limits as well, down First Avenue and a few other places. So their intention then would be to, close those gaps as they move forward. And they will be just taking small chunks of this. So this part of my request is a resolution of support for their grant fund with Minnesota Deed.
Okay, hearing this request of resolution, wishes of the council.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve by Councilor Fossil,
Support.
support by Councilor Hildebrand. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. C. Betsy.
My next item is to authorize the removal of the encumbrance of funds for the media project called Hibbing 19 that we supported earlier this year, or earlier in 2022. MediaCom has reached out to me and indicated they will be sending that grant funding back to Minnesota Deed. They are no longer going to be using any of the grant funds to build out that project. They are still intending to build that project and they've said still the 2 gig by 1 gig service, but not utilizing any grant funding going forward, and also did not need the funds from the city. So I want to put them back in that pot.
Very good. Hearing what was just requested, wishes of the council.
Make the motion.
We have a motion by Councilor
Whitney.
Whitney, you just don't say it very often. Councilor Whitney, could I get a second?
Support.
Support by Councilor Hoffman-Sockman. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. D.
So tonight, then, I would also request the authorizing the expenditure from General Fund 101-24210 in the amount of $35,000 towards that CTC project for the Hibbing part of that installation of their fiber to the premise. This shows, in addition to the community providing support via a resolution, we also have skin in the game, and that makes their grant application that much more competitive. They are going after the new pilot project, which is 75% state grant funded, 25% local fund, including the provider themselves. So that's why they're able to do some of these harder, more remote projects. And I'd like to, provide some small assistance to that project.
Very good. So you're looking for approval, use of the funds, wishes of the council.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion approved by Councilor Hoffman-Sockman. Second? Support by Councilor Schweberger. Any discussion? I will.
Go-
go
no,
ahead.
you go- no,
I was going to
please.
say, we've had CTC at the Memorial Building for about 2 years. Maybe about 3 years we put it in, and I think it's been outstanding. So they reached out, they were our least expensive at that time to run it to our building, and I'm glad to see that they're expanding and we have an opportunity here to help them. Councilor Hoffman-Sockman.
Betsy, so is that about what the others are going to be putting toward this project, is about 35,000, or is that based on our population?
It's based on the 38 households that they're gonna
Okay.
target. So they said people, communities are putting in roughly 1,000 to 1,500 per household. The thing I said was, I don't wanna tie you to a number per household, because in case you can scoop in a few more, I'm gonna be happy for you to do that without having to continually go through a process of reauthorizing the next, set. So I just said, if I give a set amount, does that work? And he said, yes, that was appropriate.
Okay, good, thank you.
Very good, thank you. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carries. E.
All right, so finally, this is the development agreement between the City of Hibbing and JT Ventures LLC. And I've been working on this with both the project and with Attorney Borland over the past, I would say, couple months. We started it late in 2022. This agreement will allow us to set that land that that we've been working with them on for the development of their new facility aside into an agreement such that we're being clear and upfront and transparent about how we're going through this process. So I can let Attorney Borland answer some of the more legal questions, but we laid out going after the demolition funding in this. If site work needs to be done, we've had preliminary conversations with both the project and the IRRR and had conversations about that. And then also just, laying out when we need to publicly bid, how that process will work through Jesse's office, that sort of thing, so that we're all in sync on this project. And it also includes a couple of key pieces that Attorney Borland brought to us. One is if the project does not commence construction or is not bid out and those sorts of things within a timely fashion, there's a reversionary clause after purchase that it comes back to the city. So we're not, entering into purchase agreements with folks who will sit on property and then sell it off for some other purpose. It will come back to the city if the project does not commence, or if it needs to, if they're gonna turn it back or sell it, it has to come back to us. So there's some of those things in there that Andy has, worked on for us, which is how we need that process to work, so.
Thank you.
I'll stand for any questions on that if you have any.
Okay, so we're looking for approval for proposed development agreement. Wishes of the council.
Make the motion to approve.
Motion by Councilor Bayless. Second.
Support.
Support by Councilor Hoffman-Sockman. Discussion, just for those watching, this is the old Suburban Lane property.
Yep.
Just so that everybody knows what property we are talking about.
Yep, and, once these cross the line here, because they're entered into publicly, the parcels and everything are listed right in the development agreement,
Okay.
and that development agreement becomes part of the public domain.
Very good. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We move on to City Service Director Nicarella.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. First up tonight, I have offer resolution number 23-02-05. And this would authorize the application and accept money from the IRRR Mineland Reclamation Grant Program. We'd be going after this for the Mindview buildings. And as we've talked about, we have a funding gap in that construction budget. So we are going after any grant we can possibly find to fill that with outside dollars. So just looking for your support to go after that grant.
Okay, so looking for support for authorizing the application. Wishes of the council.
Motion to approve?
Motion approved by Councilor Bayless.
Second.
Afaso, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And second by Councilor Whitney. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Nay? Motion carries. B.
B is resolution 22-02-06, and this would be committing our remaining American Rescue Plan funds to fund that funding gap for the Mindview project. So we have 1.3 million in state bonding that we're trying to get over the finish line and finish up the paperwork for it. And the bonding agents won't release that money until we show that we have a whole project and we're funded accordingly. So in the meantime, we would like to fill that funding gap with American Rescue Plan dollars that I believe Sheena had talked about at one of our last working sessions. And like I just said, we'll still go after outside funding to do it, so we don't have to use as much of our American Rescue Plan dollars, but in the meantime, this makes the project whole and we can move forward with that paperwork.
Okay, so we're looking for committing some American Rescue Plan funds to fill the void. Wishes of the council.
Motion approved.
We have motion approved by Councilor Schweberger, second.
Support.
Support by Councilor Fossil. Any discussion? So I just wanted to clarify what you just said. What you're doing is getting us position to start moving forward so we can stay on schedule. And any other
Yes.
funding that comes in, we'll release those funds back to the city.
Correct,
That we
yep.
would be using from the American Rescue Plan.
Correct, yeah, our
Okay.
goal would be to use as few of those dollars as possible. We
Okay.
want to collect as much outside funding as possible, so.
Very good. Here, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
C is requesting approval to execute the contract with SEH for the pickleball court design. We talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago at our workshop, and this would be for professional services for the design work of that whole south end of where the pickleball courts would be, is on the south end of Bennett Park. It would be the parking lot area around there where the old Mac used to be, the pickleball courts, and then along over towards the backside or south side of the Little League field. So just looking for your authorization to execute that contract. It would be $26,000, and we do have the funds available from the fundraising group that has raised over $150,000 to date. So we just want to get the design going so we can begin construction hopefully yet this summer.
Very good. So we're looking at authorization to execute a contract with SEH. Wishes of the council.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Councilor Hoffman-Sockman. Is there a second?
Support.
Support by Councilor Fossil. Any discussion? What's our time frame you're looking at?
We're hopefully, so we hope to have design completed this spring with going out to bid hopefully May-ish sometime. That would be our goal, and then award in early June and begin construction, so.
Very good. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Next would be Resolution 2302-08, and this would authorize the application and accept money from the IRRR Grant Writing Assistance Program. We are going after the Minnesota DNR Outdoor Recreation Grant, and in the last couple of years, they have drastically revamped their application process. It's very thorough compared to what it used to be, and getting a little outside help on that grant application would be, I think, go a long ways. So I want to apply for a grant for assistance with that. And then my next one would be an actual agreement with a grant writer. So first one here is a resolution to go after the IRRR grant in the amount of $3,000.
Okay, so we're looking for support for grant writing assistance. Wishes of the council.
Make the motion.
Motion by Councilor Whitney, second.
Support.
Support by Councilor Bayless. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Hoffman-Sockman.
Thank you. Nick, this is a grant or a program through IRRB that you can be ongoing, like you can do this on an annual basis then?
Yes,
Is my
correct.
understanding?
Yep.
So maybe that's something we might consider doing from here on out to
Yep.
get a little help.
Yep.
Not that you can't do it, but I mean, you know, if there's money available, that's great to be able to do that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. E,
This one would be the actual professional service contract with Nancy Larson and Community Coaching, Inc. And she, I have reached out to her a few times already, and she is more than willing to assist us with this grant application for the Minnesota DNR. She has done a handful of them in the past, and yeah, looks forward to working with the city.
Very good. So we're looking for approval for an agreement with Community Coaching Incorporated. Wishes of the council.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion of Hoffman Sockman. Counselor, second.
Support.
Support by Counselor Fossil. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. City Clerk, Deputy Administrator, Candy Supple.
Thank you, Mayor and City Councilors. The first resolution that I bring before you is Resolution Number 23-02-07, approving charitable gambling, authorizing Climb Theater to have charitable gambling at La Tequila, which is located at 2520 East Beltline. We go through a process every year, and they fulfilled their end of the legal side of it. So I'm just asking for you to approve this so I can get the documents to the state.
Okay, so we're looking for approval of charitable gambling authorization. Wishing of the council.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Counselor Bayless, second. Support by Counselor Hildebrand. Any discussion?
Mayor,
Yes, Counselor Whitney.
Candy, what is this place?
Climb is just, it's like we have the Elks of Evelyn who comes in and does charitable gambling. They're a reputable company out of the cities that does this as well.
Or I meant like
Oh, La Tequila?
yeah.
Oh, it's a restaurant, I'm sorry. It's a restaurant, a Mexican and American breakfast
Oh, the old
restaurant.
country kitchen?
Yes.
The Old
Oh,
Country
I thought it was
Kitchen.
called El Charro.
They have a DBA, so we go, all of their legal name is through La Tequila.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Sorry about that.
So this one, the profits of charitable gambling is going to an outfit out of the cities, or that's just who's,
That's just who's doing it. They have to legally give their charitable gambling locally.
okay, all right.
Any other discussion? Hearing none? All in favor say aye.
Okay.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
So thank you, Mayor and Councilors. The second resolution is accepting a donation from the General Federation of Women's Clubs for the Hibbing Public Library in the amount of $120. They choose a charity every year, and this year they chose the public library.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Wishes of the council.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Counselor Bayless.
Support.
Support by Counselor Schweberger. Any discussion?
Yes, and I just wanted to let you know that the library will be sending them a thank you card, so
Very
it's
nice.
just kind of a nice little added touch.
Hearing that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Candy.
Thank
Move
you.
on to City Administrator Greg Krasinski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Councilors. This evening, I would ask for authorization to submit to St. Louis County our 120-day written notice of our intent to terminate the city office space and support agreement. This agreement has been in place for about 10 years. What I would like to be able to do is go ahead, submit that notice of termination. The agreement will be good through June 30th of 2023. We are working on basically renewing that space agreement and support agreement. This evening, however, is just the piece that goes ahead, allows us to cancel the agreement or intend to cancel. And we'll come back with some of those other agreements in the future. But if you have questions, I can certainly try to answer those. Otherwise, a motion to move that forward.
Okay, so you're looking for an agreement to cancel 120-day written notice for termination with the county. Wishes of the council.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion.
Motion by Counselor Hoffman Sockman. Support by Counselor Bayless. Any discussion? So Greg, the process, as you just said, is you need to cancel this agreement before you can construct it.
That's correct.
Okay.
And we'll start on the language on some of those other pieces,
Yeah.
but this is the first step, and then we'll take care of the details on the backside, so.
Very good. Wishes of the council. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. B.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. I have one item this evening. The item is actually, everybody's aware of it, staff and city council, but for our residents, I'd like to report on our adventure last week at the Capitol. We attended the St. Louis County Day at the Capitol. It was actually the 8th and the 9th. Mr. Mayor, thank you for attending. Betsy Olivanti was also there. Thank you both for attending. It's critically important that we are connected to those decision makers. So what we did is we made sure that we visited with Senator Farnsworth, Representative Igo. I attended a meeting with our MnDOT partners, Pete and Betsy. They both attended committee hearings. There was great feedback that Hibbing was at the Capitol on St. Louis County Day. And I just think it's critically important that we let our residents know that we are advocating for Hibbing. Our top priority at the Capitol in 2023 is, of course, our Hibbing Public Safety Center. We talked about that with anybody and everybody, even people that probably don't even know where Hibbing is. We made sure that we touch base with them, just trying to create some excitement. So I wanted to report that again to the City Council and our residents. So other than that, that's all I have.
Very good, thank you so much. I wanted to add one little note on that. When myself and Betsy were in the elevator, we had our Hibbing attire on, and it was just out of the blue, the guy said, "You're from Hibbing?" I said, "Yep, we're from Hibbing." He says, "I own a gas station in Hibbing." So here you are in the elevator, and he owned a BP station in Hibbing, and you know, it was a connection you made. Had we not been down there, or even been visible, conversation we might not have had, but just a little piece, but it was very interesting. The LGA hearings, which I sat in on, were outstanding. The testimonies were good. Eiselgard did just a wonderful job with that. And I'm hoping that the city will benefit from his efforts. So, all right, we'll move on to bids and quotes. City Engineer Jesse Story.
Mayor and Council, in May of 2021, we ordered a new garbage truck for the sanitation department. The original approved purchase price for Mid-State Truck was $121,325.01. So the truck is ready for delivery. I did receive an invoice from Mid-State Truck, and it has an increase of $7,048.02 on it. Sam Powers is here with Mid-State Truck Service to go over the reasons for the increase over the purchase order that we had, and that was approved. So
Very good. Sam?
Good evening. I was told only 10 people would be here, but made packets, I don't know if I passed it. There's obviously a lot of stuff that happened in the last couple of years to affect the pricing. I know Jesse had brought up when we spoke last, the first increase that we went through. When you open up the packet, the first pack is stapled together. That was the original quote made on April 16th, 2021. That one, you guys had your meeting eventually on the 19th or the 20th of May 2021. At that point, the pricing had increased. I did let them know and made an updated quote for John, May 14th. That brought the total from 111 on the first packet, 111,264.48. Couple things happened in that 1 month. One, the model went from a 22 to a 23. Our order board shifted out, and we knew we couldn't get a truck until 2023. That was an increase of model year of $1,156. This is now on pack 2, sorry. You'll see my fancy handwriting. There was also an additional surcharge of $750 and a shipping increase of $250. Both of those are on the sheets behind it. They're letters from International explaining the cost increases at that point. Moving on to pack 3, as you can see dated at the top, In December of '21, they applied surcharges on the tires. It breaks out the brands. Your truck has 2 Continental tires in the front and 8 Goodyears in the rear, which was a $860 total increase just on the tires. The next page breaks down the international surcharge that they invoiced. This one was built after May 15th, 2022. So this model is an HV series mid-range. Shows a $4,000 increase at that point. After that, they increased shipping again. That was on 5/15/2022 from $2,600 to $3,100. On to pack 4. This is the dual steer setup because this truck is equipped with 2 steering wheels operated from both sides. This first page is the original quote when we quoted the truck in May. So as you can see at the top, dated April 16th, that's when I called them to get the pricing. The second page is them updating it once the truck showed up. They don't hold pricing until the truck gets there. They updated the pricing to $11,479. After that, I actually attached my invoice. I don't mark up any of that stuff. They added a ship-through fee of $1,750 to pay for their people that basically move the truck from the plant to a parking lot for a shipping company to come pick up. I did talk to them about negotiating it, but they weren't negotiating. The last page in pack 4 shows the VIN, just so you know that that invoice was for that VIN. Pack 5 is my invoice from Navistar, on which the second page, I had shown what we were charged exactly for shipping and exactly for surcharges. The $2,600 for shipping, as written next to the $3,100, was originally billed on your original invoice, or the quote, sorry. The $750 was originally on your first quote as well. Those increases from International were $4,610. The Coffin Barger increases were $3,329. Total actual bill to Midstate was $7,939. I absorbed the shipping from Coffin Barger, which is in Ohio, to Heil in Alabama. So that you guys did not get invoiced for. Bringing the total base cost increase to $6,617.86. With tax and fees, $7,048.02.
Well, you did a great job of walking us through that.
Very good, very good.
So what we're looking for, Jesse, what you're asking for is approval for the price increase.
Greg
Oh,
has a comment.
yes.
I do have one question. So is this off the state contract?
So it is priced off of a Sourcewell contract.
So Sourcewell, what do they have to say about the surcharges?
They told us to, we have to add them on the invoices as long as we can prove that they're invoiced.
What's our fee to Sourcewell to be part of that group?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What is our fee to be, what does Hibbing pay Sourcewell to be part of that consortium to purchase these vehicles?
Nothing.
Okay. Why aren't we not buying this off of a state contract?
Because generally the pricing comes out worse.
And did you check the Sourcewell pricing to the state contract bid pricing?
I don't remember if I did or not.
We may want to look into that. I don't think we should, not take delivery of this vehicle. I do think we need to take a look at, are we buying off the contract and, or versus Sourcewell, and who's got the better pricing?
Yeah. Generally, Sourcewell comes out a little bit better. at least in my experience. It is
For the cabin chassis or for the cabin chassis and
the cabin chassis alone, which is why I usually have people bill them separate. Because if I have to put the body on a Sourcewell contract, then it makes me put 5% on it.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yes, I just have a question.
Counselor Hopkins, Sockman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you again for walking us through this. I guess maybe this is a question for Andy, but how do we in the future make sure that we don't get, this doesn't happen? Because don't we sometimes enter into a contract to purchase something like this? How do we make sure this doesn't happen again?
Councilor Hoffman-Sockman, members of the council, that was going to be kind of my question is when, Sam, when you have these, I'll say, built-in lags that by the nature of all these products now that you're ordering are coming a year later, 2 years later, your language or the language that on these bids, does it build in the fact that you've got this lag time where all of these people can add surcharges to, which not only you're taking the hit for, but the city is taking the hit now? I mean, to me, it seems like there's a fail within the system to say, you've got to lock in and whether that means you bid higher and then you get it for less so we get some money back so that the city can budget. Because that's a concern I have. If the city knew it was going to be $10,000 or $15,000 more, they'd budget for that rather than, okay, we're short now or we're having to pay extra. And I think that's where the city administrator is coming from too. It's like, we want to get the bang for the dollar. But you need the vehicle now because unless there's some fine print within the document, I don't know how they can raise the cost unless it's just, well, subject to, and I realize Sam said initially, the bid was only good for this period of time because of the lag time, but that doesn't mean the additional surcharges that they're adding on long after the fact, not a reflection on him, but the other companies he's dealing with. It's like, sorry, there's a problem there. I mean, if the city wanted to dig in, they just wouldn't get their vehicle though. So I think there's a problem with the system, as in, if you're submitting a bid to us, I think the language has to be tight to say, we get it for this dollar amount, or else somebody else is gonna eat the cost, because otherwise the city can't budget that way. We're a public entity, because it's not a bottomless pit of money.
The hard part about government bidding is, we're regulated on how much we can put on it. No matter if we know that surcharges are coming or not, we can only apply what is on at the moment. So I can tell you that, here's your quote, but I know that there's gonna be $3,000 more in surcharges or cost increases. But I
That's fine,
can't.
but that would be appreciated to know that versus not knowing and then we're short.
Yes, so a lot of, government entities are actually doing the 3-bid thing. So there's 3 options. You can buy off state bid, you can buy through Sourcewell in most states, and you can get 3 bids on a truck, but make sure the time frame is set for whatever the lead time is on trucks at that moment.
So that's what the contract though, that you're submitting to the city or anyone submitting to the city has to be firm, and whether or not the city wants to do that. But to say, well, it's this, but now we get to tack on added charges on the back end, like, because it takes a while and because our prices decided to change. It's not the city's fault. That's why I think the number has to be firm on the back end. If it's gonna be more money, that's fine, but then that is the dollar amount. And if other people want to build in their surcharges, someone else is gonna have to eat them versus the city. And I understand it's tough on public entities, but I would bet more often than not, public entities are the ones who are buying most of the items that you're selling. So you'd think you'd want to accommodate the public entity. I'm not putting it on you, but just generally versus kind of screwing the public entity is really what this comes down to. Because essentially the people that you're buying from as the middleman, they can't deliver a product on time. Bottom line, right? I mean, otherwise we'd be getting the truck when we bid it 2021, 2022 versus now. So
Currently, pretty much across the industry, I know personally for international, we're middle of 2024 delivery.
Right.
at the moment. That's if you order today.
So I sympathize, but at the same time, then it's like, okay, the contract, the city should have an idea. We're bidding this much, except we know, someone's gotta tell us, there is an extra $8,000 that we either set aside or hold to budget for. We're only gonna pay you this much, and then we're gonna find out what those surcharges might be on the back end. But we are not gonna sit here and take it every time, because we honored the bid. You said it a bid and we honored it, and now, oh no, we're gonna make you pay more because we couldn't deliver it on time. There's a problem there.
The other
We're desperate for the items, so therefore,
Right.
probably have to, as Greg said, I don't disagree with him. We need the items, so we gotta take it, but at the same time, the city's getting burned because, not Sam, but the people beyond Sam are screwing Sam over because he's eating costs and us too. But if they're gonna bid the project, they should have a separate estimate as to, here's the estimate as to the additional surcharges based on time, so that we can budget for that.
So piggybacking on what you're saying, Andy, is there a possibility with this, over this $7,000? Does it have to be paid in full, or can we wait and pay some of it in our next budget cycle for next year? Do we have
I
to
think
pay
if you
for?
want your item, you have to pay their fee.
We're gonna have to pay the whole thing no matter, I mean, I was just thinking, well, you know, split it between the budgets.
Unfortunately,
years?
for titling purposes and registration.
Okay, that's, I didn't know how the process worked, but thank you for clarifying that, Andy. That's it.
Moving forward, just hearing what we just heard here, I would assume anybody that you're dealing with, you just said another truck ordered now would be in the middle of 2024. You're gonna let them know this is the cost of the truck, but there could be a projected additional $8,000 in cost. So if you're budgeting 100,000, you better budget 108. And that's kind of what Andy, you're saying is, we're into this year and we budgeted in our capital budget for this equipment. Had we known there might have been another 8,000 or 7,000, whatever it was. In addition, Jesse would ask for that in addition, or spend up to the possibility of, say, 110, just to use numbers.
So, and Mayor, so that's my recommendation in the future is you don't bid higher than what they submit. But the people ordering the product should budget an extra so much for surcharges so that the money is at least there and we recognize that it's there.
Yeah.
And if in fact we don't get hit with the surcharges, you have a little bit more in your budget to work with, but
Right.
otherwise, we're always gonna be short.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just
Counselor
curious,
Bass.
is there a cap? Like, is there a cap on surcharge or any contract increase? Because like, I know when you bid construction projects, you can put like a variance percentage guarantee on it or something like that. Is there anything like that where we could, I know we could ask for, but then they'll just say you don't get a truck, but.
Not that I know of. I haven't heard of a cap,
If
but
there was, we could at least budget for
we're
it.
seeing a lot more on the body side than on the truck side. I know this one, you know, half of that was from that dual steer system. Pretty much anybody that supplies stuff for the trucks, we've been seeing a lot of increases and or surcharges. No, I have not heard of a cap.
Yes. All right.
So we're gonna do a couple of things. The very first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have a capital plan for our equipment, because we're in kind of a tight spot because our equipment's wearing out. So that'll be step number one. Step number two, we will start to explore other options when it comes to brands. We don't have to have this brand. And the third thing that we'll do is our purchasing will get out ahead of it. So we're gonna anticipate the purchase and we're gonna try to buy as much as we can off the shelf. That could go away. I mean, we know that the world has changed in the last 3 or 4 years. The point is, somebody that elects not to purchase a vehicle, sanitation, I mean, it's a cab and a chassis, we can buy that stuff off the shelf all day, every day. So there are 3 or 4 different strategies that we're going to look into internally, so we're not in this position in the future. I mean, if we don't buy this international brand, it'll certainly be a different retailer. And it's nothing against this retailer, but we don't have to be brand specific. We need a diesel cab chassis, and we put in this case, a trash compactor on it and go. So there are some strategies we're going to do to address it. We just are kind of caught by surprise by some of these issues. So Not to beat a dead horse, but we wanted to, have that conversation with our city council.
If you are thinking about equipment, even with other brands, I understand competition is good. I would probably look into it soon. We just lost 10% of our production for this year, which pushed us into next year, and they're not looking like they're gonna get any better.
I thank you. Is there any other discussion?
Mayor,
Yes.
I got a question. Sam, the truck that we ordered in May of '22, will there be the same surcharges on that truck when it comes?
It won't be the same, no, but I won't know really until about a month before it gets here. That's when I get all the, the invoice and stuff, tells me how much they're actually applying. They were talking about having, some, I guess, reserve some of the surcharges for federal and state and county municipality. But I don't know how that ended up because of the bid situations and stuff like that.
Jesse, are you talking about another compactor?
Yeah,
for
we
sanitation?
ordered a sanitation truck in May of '22.
Okay, and that would be a 24 delivery?
That one is actually, it's supposed to be to, Heil in June, I believe.
That one's coming in this
So
year
that one's
also.
coming this year, right? And Mayor, I did talk to the finance department regarding this, and we do have funds in that budget for this extra.
Okay. Andy, I know, did you have your hand up again?
So, Sam, if I'm doing my bad math right, this is about a 6% surcharge increase over what was bid.
Correct. Yep.
So in your experience, is that fairly typical at this point in time at 6? And when you couldn't answer Jesse's question about how big the surcharge might be later, I assume it's not going lower, probably going higher?
I doubt it would go lower.
Yeah.
Yep. But, as far as how that surcharge is, related to others, I've seen with body included, up to 12%.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion? I'll entertain a motion. First,
I'll make the motion.
motion approved by Counselor Schweberger, second.
I'll second it.
Second by Counselor Bayless. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you so much for your explanation.
Thank you.
Jesse, B.
Mayor Council attached is a quote from L&L Rental for the purchase of a grapple bucket for a skid steer. This will be used at the recycle center, Blight Properties for public works projects. We did budget $5,500 and that's what the quote came in at, so I'm asking for council approval.
Wishes of the council.
Motion to approve?
Motion approved by Counselor Fossil. Second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Whitney. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Motion carries. C. Jesse.
Mayor Council, the DPF filter on the Vector truck for our waste control systems is in need of replacement. We have cleaned this filter multiple times and now the engine goes into shutdown mode when we try to run it. The price for the new DPF filter is $8,281.35 with a core charge of $3,726.62. We will get that core charge back once we remove the old one and send it in. This is not a budgeted item, but we do have money in the repair and maintenance for this department, so I'm asking for council approval.
All right. Hearing what Mr. Story just asked for, wishes of the council.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Counselor Schweberger.
Support.
Support by Counselor Hildebrand. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
City Deputy Administrator Candy Sepulveda.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Before you, I am asking for the approval of the purchase and installation of a replacement controller for the existing HVAC at the Hibbing Public Library from Pro Control Technologies in the amount of $3,242.11. couple weeks back, we had to order it because it went out unexpectedly, so it was purchased, and we just need approval, sorry. Sometimes we can't wait.
Okay, we're looking for approval for the purchase of the controller for the library. Wishes of the council.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Counselor Fossil.
No, Bayless.
Or Bayless.
Bayless.
Second?
Support.
Support by Counselor Fossil. Any discussion?
I'd just like to
Yes.
add, it doesn't have anything to do with the HVAC, but I just wanted to let you know that the hush booth that you had approved back in December, I think, or October, was installed over the last couple of days, so if you want to go check it out, it's pretty cool, so.
Very good. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you so much. Moving on to boards and commissions. Housing and Redevelopment Authority, one vacancy, completing a 5-year term ending 12/31/2027 for a Hibbing resident. And we had one applicant, which was Tina Swader. Wishes of the council.
Mr. Mayor, I'll go ahead and nominate Tina Swader for that open position.
We have a nomination by Councillor Hoffman Sockman, second. Second by Councillor Bayless. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Planning and Zoning Commission, one vacancy, completing a 3-year term ending 12/31/24 for a Hibbing resident. One vacancy, completing a 3-year term ending 12/31/2025 for a Hibbing resident. And one vacancy, completing a 3-year term ending 12/31/2025 for Hibbing residents. We've had 3 applicants. And I apologize if I slaughter these names, but Dimitri Karolius, John Petrangelo, and George Pagachnik. So those are the 3 applicants. Should we do those one at a time? Okay.
So you'll take the first one,
The
Mayor?
first one? So the first one's for a vacancy, completing a 3-year term ending 12/31/2024. Nominations for that position of those 3.
I'll nominate Dimitri.
Okay, we have a nomination by Councillor Schreiberger. Second?
I'll support it.
Support by Councillor Bayless. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We move on to one vacancy, completing a 3-year term ending 12/31/2025. Could I take a motion of the 2 remaining, Mr. Petrangelo and Mr. Pagachnik?
I'll nominate John Petrangelo.
We have a motion by Councillor Bayless to nominate John Petrangelo. Do we have a second?
Support.
Support by Councillor Hoffman Sockman. Any discussion? All in favor of John Petrangelo filling the 3-year term ending 12/31/2025? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Motion carries. We move on to George Pagachnik and one vacancy, completing a 3-year term ending 12/31/25. Could I have a nomination?
I'll nominate George.
Nominate by Councillor Bayless. Second.
Support.
Support by Councillor Hildebrand for George Pagachnik to fill a 3-year term ending 12/31/2025. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would just like to say thank you to all these people for
Yes.
stepping up.
Thank you so much.
For the, it's the bare bones, 3 openings, 3 people applied, 1 person for the other one, 1 opening, 1 applied, so thank you to those who want to step up and help out.
Thank you so much for your comments. Let's, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Move on to license and permits. 1, approve the raffle permit application request of the Minnesota Trappers to hold their raffle at the Hibbing Memorial Building on Wednesday, October 18th, 2023. Raffle permit number 2023-0204. Wishes of the council.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councillor Faso. Second.
Support.
Support by Councillor Schreiberger. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We move on to 2, approve the raffle permit application request of the Hibbing Softball Booster Club to hold their raffle at Cheever Field at Bennett Park on Tuesday, May 9th, 2023. Wishes of the council.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve by Councilor Hoffman Sockman. Second. Support by Councilor Bayless. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We move on to 3, approve the raffle permit application bingo request of the Red Rock Riders to hold bingo at the Hibbing Elks Lodge on Wednesdays, March 8th, 15th, 22nd, 29th of 2023. Bingo permit number 2023-0206. Wishes of the council.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilor Schweberger, second.
Support.
Support by Councilor Fossil. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Last, approve special event permit application of the Hibbing Curling Club to hold the Hibbing Last Chance Bonspiel April 12th through the 16th, 2023 at the Hibbing Curling Club and at the Hibbing Memorial Building. Wishes of the council.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Councilor Fossil. Second. Support by Councilor Hoffman Sockman. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Could I have a motion for adjournment? Yes.
Actually, Mr. Mayor, I need to make an amendment to the agenda. We have Beth Pierce. I had asked her to come at 6, and then we
Okay.
weren't going to have a workshop. She was just going to come and give a little presentation.
Oh, is she here?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes. So I apologize.
All right, before adjournment, that's fine.
Yep. So,
Beth, you are up.
Hi, everyone. I'm Beth Pierce. I'm the director of Iron Range Tourism Bureau. We're a nonprofit destination marketing organization, and we serve the communities from Hibbing to White Lakes. I'm a Hibbing resident. I've served on the park board and the board of trustees for the library, the EDA very briefly. I love Hibbing, and I'm really excited to see what is happening in Hibbing. I just have to say that you guys have a great team. Just good stuff happening. Excited about Cary Lake and the trail study and the wine view and memorial building and all of that. So good for you. And thank you for all your hard work. Once a year, we kind of go around and talk to our city councils, just check in, but my office is in Evelyn, and you are welcome to come and visit me at any time and talk tourism or about trail development or anything that's going on in the area that might be of interest to you. We have had a pretty good past couple years. We estimate that there's about 550,000 people visiting, overnight visitors coming to our area every year. Those are all travelers, not just tourists, but for sporting events or, even family reunions or funerals or weddings or all that kind of stuff, business. But there's probably another 250 to 300,000 people that are passing through, or they're day trippers, or they're staying with friends or family. So it is a significant impact on our economy. We estimate about $85,000 or $1 million a year. And that continues to grow. So we're excited about that. We have a very robust digital campaign happening right now. We spent the last year updating and getting some really outstanding video. And so we're making good use of that this year. Of course, we do print advertising and some other email blasts, and we're doing a couple of Spotify campaigns this year as well. So I think that's all I have. I'm sorry, I just... Does anybody have any questions for me about tourism? We probably don't see you guys enough as much as we should, but Betsy is on my board. Donna Johnson, who lives in Hibbing and is the director of the Minnesota Discovery Center, also on my board. Anyone, we have an open seat right now, but we have the Trails Task Force. We do the Certified Tourism Ambassador Program, which is a 4-hour certification program with an emphasis on all the great things that are happening in the region, events, attractions, trails, all of that. And it also has a customer service component. We're offering that on March 27th again. We have a Spirit of Hospitality Award that we do every year for celebrating people in hospitality or people that are contributing to our communities. The Sports Commission, actually, Pete's been involved with that, and I have some developments happening in that area too. So, and I was really happy to work with the city last year to do some work at Greyhound Bus Museum. I know you guys are getting a $10,000 Trails Task Force grant to help with the Trails, Parks and Trails master plan. So, we're working together already. So, and always happy to do more, so.
Beth, I just want to say, I've been fortunate enough to work with you on many projects over the years, and I appreciate your energy and your passion for, our whole region. And I applaud you for all that you've accomplished over your career and moving forward too. And it takes vision from people like you and your organization that helps make our Arrowhead region, our Iron Range area, just a great place to live. I thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you. And I'm here today with my board chair and Jim Mikowski, and I'm going to let him say a word if that's okay.
Sure.
We have a couple minutes.
Welcome, Jim.
Thank you for having us tonight. And Mayor, I couldn't agree with you more. We have been so lucky to have Beth Pierce lead our organization for the last 10 plus years. I think we're very proud to say that, Iron Range Tourism Bureau is doing the best we've ever done. We've really saturated the market. We have some good representation on different organizations. And I commend Beth and her team. And I just wanted to take a minute or so to share with you that we've just recently hired a new marketing director. And he's a great young man. He does some great work. He's from the Chisholm area. And if you ever get some time, jump on Facebook or any of the other social media and you can see, I just pulled this up while we were outside there, Hibbing High School. There's some great stuff out there. So kudos to Beth and her team, and we appreciate the partnership with Hibbing. Thank you.
And I think the key word that you said is partnerships, and that's where we need to continue to move forward. And stretching the dollar, working together, and I really appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Any other comments? Right.
So I think it would be a good idea to say thank you for participating in our Parks and Trails Master Plan. Remember the Tourist Bureau funded our project, I think it was $10,000. I just want to say thank you to you for helping us on that. That Park and Trail Plan will certainly have a robust public input section of it, and our local firm, I think it's Barr, that is doing that work for us. So I just wanted to make sure that we pointed that out and remember to say thank you, so appreciate that.
One thing I forgot, so last year we had a welcoming dinner in Hibbing, and we had great council participation. They've had a lot of turnover, but and it was 43 new residents were here of all ages, and we could do that again this year. So I have a sponsor that's going to give everybody a little bit of seed money, so hopefully we can do that again in one of the city buildings. And it was an awesome event. It was really
Sounds great. I heard nothing but great news after it was.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was good. So, and if anybody has any ties in any other towns, we have a little sponsorship for all of the I call it the Iron Range proper, Hibbing, White Lakes, whatever. My towns.
Thank you so much. Any other comments? Thank you so much for showing up tonight.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Hearing nothing else, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Make a motion by Councilor Whitney.
I'll support it.
Support by Councilor Bayless. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.